Beloved Prime Creator of all that is, we gather this day to thank you for our presence in this time of great reshuffling and consciousness shifting. The long, steady infringements of our freedom and of our essence as joyful, creative beings has taken its toll and is no longer manageable for them nor tolerable for us. Many view the falling apart and disintegration of their political gain, policies, and landmarks as unthinkable, cruel, and heartless. The three fingers pointing back at the pointer is where we are. Calling someone a racist when it is they who have made every effort to give extra privilege and opportunity rather than the standard of merit exemplifies their own belief that by the color of their skin or origin they need preferential treatment. The individual incentive and drive in each individual is then compromised and overshadows the brilliance of their potential and their passion to succeed or excel. Creator gave each of us a light from within, and it is our gift and our opportunity to not only shine our light without compromise or criticism, but to be bolstered and encouraged to take responsibility, to shine our God-given gift of light as bright as possible as our expression of gratitude for what has been given. Our spirits will always rise to exceptional heights when given the challenge and the opportunity. Sharing our light and our love with others who have not yet tapped into theirs or who are lost in the dark only need to be reminded and encouraged that we take their hand and model our own indomitable spirit to live, to shine, to strive, and to thrive. Let it be so, and so it is.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. Talking about the de jure provisional government on Oregon. Talking to our 36 sheriffs. We have action going against at the top of the group of 9 is Polk County, Marion County, Lynn County, Lane County, and Washington County. We specifically have an issue with the Washington County Sheriff Caprice and the Marion County Sheriff Nick. We have requested from both of them the guidelines or the instructions on how to perform a civilian arrest and turn the prisoner over to them. You read about this as an available option, but it's not one you want to make a mistake on. You want to get it right. So we put it into writing, a special request for information to Nick and Caprice, Washington County and Marion County. That seems like it would be enough. You shouldn't have to do that to all of the counties to provide us the information. How do you make a civilian arrest? Seems like a reasonable request. And they are very tardy in coming to us with an answer. Now, this is not like we're doing play pretend with these folks. The most recent affair we've had reminds me of an issue with Pat Garrett. This was a long time ago. Roger Tabb and Ray Sinkle and the group from the Republic went up against Pat, demanding of Pat to fulfill his obligation to the Constitution. And I didn't know anything about Ray and Roger doing that. And I came along a few months later and wandered into an appointment with Pat Garrett. No problem. He brought his undersheriff along, and he explained to me that he was going to treat everybody the same, and he was taking his orders from the district attorney. I didn't like that very much, but I stayed away from him for quite a while. But I ran into him at the Beaverton City Council meeting one evening. And I said, "Hello, Pat." "Hello." I said, "Did you get the letter I sent you?" And he said, "Did you send it return receipt requested?" And I said, "No, I didn't." Then he said, "Then I didn't get your letter." He who can be deceived, let him. And if you can't prove it, it didn't happen. Provide proof of service. This is the kind of guy I'm dealing with. Met with him years later with Ray Sinkle and Cambiz. And he decided at that time, with a different undersheriff, that he was going to treat everybody the same, although he understood there were de facto and de jure jurisdictions. There was Article 7 amended and there was original jurisdiction. And there are two different jurisdictions within the county, and he was going to treat us all the same, regardless. So much for Pat Garrett. I spent 20 days in his lockup. A while later, I was down at the Marco Hatfield building, 1000 Southwest 3rd. And I was a private attorney general, and I was introducing myself to the U.S. Marshal, the courthouse, and the Department of Justice attorney for Oregon. And that didn't go well, but it went all right. I got introduced to all of them. And when I walked into the courthouse on the 7th floor, I was being accompanied by two marshals by then. And there's a fellow sitting behind the counter there. His name turned out to be Matt. Nice man, personable. I told him I thought I'd be doing a lot of mail to this particular federal court. And I told him about the story with Pat Garrett. And I said, it gets expensive to have to return receipt request every time I mail a letter. And if I'm going to mail them to you, and so we talked, and he said, "Ron, you address it to me, Courthouse 740 at this building. I will file them. I'll stamp your copy and put it in an envelope and mail it back to you." And he did for a couple of years. But it's the difference in mindset. there's a big difference between, well, did you send it return receipt requested and I'm going to treat everybody the same? Or, no, I don't do that and I'll do this and we'll have a proper relationship. Matt, he retired. He was a good man. In any case, it's mindset that we're talking about. So, what reason would we have to need to learn how to do a civilian arrest? Well, it came to mind after talking to a guy that used to work for the Department of Corrections. His name's Ken. And I like him rather. Yeah. He'll stand and deliver and he'll stand and receive. He's a pretty good man. I don't like what he does and I don't like what he stands for, but he'll at least stand and not hide behind glass or a locked door. That counts. So I'm talking with him. And he said, yeah, I understand that we've been convicted in your court and you have a verdict, but what are you going to do about it? And I thought, there's the difference in mindset. It's not what I'm going to do about it. It's not what we're going to do about it. It's not what the court's going to do about it. It's what are you going to do about it? All of you that are working in some form of the LEO, law enforcement officers, the DPSST, or yeah, I think that's correct. All of you, you have to make the decision. It's not what we're going to do about it. It's what you're going to do about it. You're the one with the oath. You take a wrong oath, it's a wrong oath. It's a lie, it's fraud, it's deceit. You've been told. All 36 sheriffs, and many before the ones that are sitting now, and the brand new ones. We told you in 2015, I think it was, in writing to all of you, and it's the same today. None of you have a proper oath. You all break the Second Amendment every single day that you're open by selling concealed carry permits. That breaks your oath. You can't go to somebody else, like an attorney, to find out whether or not you broke your oath. It's yours. You have to do it. You have to do the right thing. So, there are people out there that are bad. They do bad things. And they will need to be arrested. And if the current crop of sheriffs and cops, civilians on patrol, city police, Oregon State Police, part of the group that murdered Robert Lavoie Finicum, that group, the Kate Brown down oligarchy, it's got to be fixed. Remedy. We cannot find justice. Justice is not going to happen. That's not what we're looking for. None of us alive did any of this to start with. But if you perpetuate it after you've been told, then you're doing it. And that's where we are right now with the sheriffs. We have a man in jail under very suspect conditions. There's no reason for a 65-year-old man not in their jurisdiction to be in jail in a wheelchair with his hands buckled together in a hideaway secret court. It's just not reasonable. There's no risk of anything from that man. He's not in your jurisdiction. That kind of stuff has to stop. There's another man in Marion County that's attracting unwanted attention. He's not in your jurisdiction. We had a woman arrested and strip searched in the Yamhill County. I wasn't Newburgh, I think. That kind of stuff is not acceptable. We had another woman stopped, handcuffed, put in jail, cut loose. You folks are out of your minds. There are two types of citizen on the land. Your Supreme Court told you so. There are those of us with all of our unalienable rights guaranteed by the Constitution intact. And then there are 14th Amendment citizens with privileges, such as driving. We are not in that group. So, going to see if this is good enough to publish, and if it is, we'll put it on our cable TV channels and the internet. And I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, "Just shoot me then. This is what you want, to shoot me." And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.